A billionaire disappeared in the Caribbean. An elite lawyer stole $700 million in fake notes. A businessman created bank accounts that never existed. They all promised the same thing: you get rich without working. And it worked. Until it didn't. When the money vanished, it took with it homes, retirements, generational inheritances. Investigators discovered 8 different fraud patterns that deceived Wall Street for decades. If you can identify just one of them before this video ends, you'll be safer than 99% of people. Bernie Madoff's investment advisory fraud. In December 2008, one of Wall Street's most respected investment advisors confessed that his entire business was a massive fabrication. Bernie Madoff had been running the largest Ponzi scheme in history for approximately 2 decades, stealing around $65 billion from roughly 40,900 investors across 127 countries. Madoff promised consistent returns through complex trading strategies that he claimed were proprietary and exclusive. In reality, he was taking money from new investors to pay earlier ones while keeping substantial amounts for himself. The scheme unraveled when the 2008 financial crisis triggered a wave of withdrawal requests he couldn't fulfill. Madoff was sentenced to 150 years in prison in 2009. Despite the massive fraud, the government managed to recover over $4.3 billion and return nearly 94% of losses to victims through a federal restitution program that continued distributing funds as recently as December 2024. R. Allen Stanford's offshore investment scam. Texas financier Robert Allen Stanford operated the second-largest Ponzi scheme in North American history, defrauding approximately 18,000 investors out of $7.2 billion. Stanford used his Stanford International Bank, located in the Caribbean island of Antigua, as the vehicle for his fraud. He promised investors extraordinarily high interest rates on certificates of deposit, claiming to invest their money in diversified portfolios and real estate projects. The scheme attracted wealthy individuals, retirees, and institutional investors who were seduced by consistent dividend payments that he actually financed through new investor deposits. Stanford was arrested in 2009 and sentenced to 110 years in prison. Unlike Madoff's victims, those defrauded by Stanford have recovered practically nothing, despite ongoing legal efforts to reclaim assets. Tom Petter's wholesale merchandise fraud. Minnesota businessman Tom Petters orchestrated a Ponzi scheme that stole approximately $2.1 billion from more than 1,000 victims. Petters created a complex web of companies claiming to resell consumer electronics and merchandise at wholesale prices to retailers. His sales structure appeared legitimate on the surface, complete with fabricated bank statements and false purchase orders from major retailers. He offered investors returns between 45% and 100% on their money, claiming these profits came from wholesale arbitrage. The scheme operated from 1994 until his exposure in 2008. Petters was convicted of 20 federal counts and sentenced to 50 years in prison. Trustee Doug Kelly managed to recover over $722 million for victims, achieving about 60% recovery of total losses. Arthur Nadel's hedge fund collapse. Arthur Nadel, a hedge fund manager based in Sarasota, Florida, vanished in January 2009 after his massive Ponzi scheme unraveled. Nadel had stolen approximately $330 million from approximately 390 investors across 6 different hedge funds he controlled, including funds named Scoop. He convinced wealthy and sophisticated investors that their money was invested in diverse financial instruments and profitable trading operations. In reality, Nadel kept minimal liquid assets and spent investor money on personal luxuries while paying returns to earlier investors from newer contributions. When a significant withdrawal request came through that he couldn't satisfy, Nadel disappeared, reportedly leaving behind a note suggesting suicide. He was captured in the Caribbean and subsequently sentenced to 14 years in prison. The case became known as the Wizard of Sarasota due to Nadel's ability to create the illusion of sophisticated financial management. Marc Dreier's promissory note fraud. High-profile New York attorney Marc Dreier headed a prestigious 250 attorney firm when he invented an elaborate scheme involving fraudulent promissory notes. Between 2004 and 2008, Dreier fabricated investment opportunities he claimed came from pension funds and other large institutional investors needing short-term capital. He created elaborate forgeries of documents from well-known companies and financial institutions to authenticate his fraudulent notes. Sophisticated hedge funds and individual investors purchased these fake notes worth millions of dollars each, believing they were legitimate short-term investments with attractive returns. Dreier was arrested in 2008 while attempting to conduct fraud internationally and pleaded guilty to conspiracy, securities fraud, wire fraud, and money laundering. He received a 20-year sentence. The original Charles Ponzi scheme. Though many fraudsters came after him, Charles Ponzi created the prototype scheme that would bear his name for over a century. In 1920, the Italian immigrant in Boston promised investors a 50% return in 45 days or 100% in 90 days by purchasing discounted postal reply coupons internationally and redeeming them at face value in America. This arbitrage strategy sounded legitimate, and thousands of Boston residents invested their life savings. Ponzi collected approximately $15 million, an enormous sum in 1920, from roughly 40,000 investors. He paid early investors with money from later ones, creating the illusion of legitimate profits. When postal authorities investigated the sustainability of the scheme, it collapsed within months. Ponzi was arrested and eventually deported to Italy. His name has since become synonymous with this entire class of financial fraud. Stanford's investors, investment fraud. Raj Rajaratnam, founder of the Galleon hedge fund, operated a sophisticated insider trading and market manipulation operation that defrauded thousands of investors out of hundreds of millions of dollars. Raj Rajaratnam paid corporate insiders for confidential information about mergers, acquisitions, and earnings announcements, which he then used to trade stocks with illegally obtained advantage. He generated approximately $65 million of illegal profits from this insider network. His case marked one of the first major successful prosecutions using wiretap evidence in a financial fraud case. Rajaratnam was convicted in 2011 and sentenced to 11 years in prison. His operation demonstrated how insider trading, while not technically a Ponzi scheme in structure, operates on similar deceptive principles of using confidential information and fraud to generate returns. The digital crypto variant. Cryptocurrency Ponzi schemes. While not attributable to a single perpetrator, cryptocurrency Ponzi schemes have exploded in the 2020s as fraudsters exploit the decentralized nature of blockchain technology. These modern schemes promise astronomical returns through staking, mining, yield farming, or exclusive access to new token launches. Operators create fake exchange platforms that display fabricated account balances and transaction histories, making investors believe their accounts are growing exponentially. Some schemes have stolen hundreds of millions of dollars collectively before being shut down. The anonymity and cross-border nature of cryptocurrency makes recovery nearly impossible once funds are transferred. Unlike traditional investment fraud, cryptocurrency Ponzi schemes can disappear from the digital landscape entirely, leaving victims with no assets to recover. The decentralized nature that makes blockchain revolutionary also makes it a perfect vehicle for modern fraud.
Share this video with someone who needs this information. Then comment, do you know anyone who almost fell into one of these schemes? Your stories matter. And don't forget to subscribe, because the next video will reveal exactly how you can protect your savings and your family's wealth.